Welcome to the 100% restoration and remodel of the 17-acre, 15-room mansion my great-great-grandfather bought almost 100 years ago for $7,000. Up to this point, we have completely demolished and removed almost 50,000 pounds of lath, plaster, brick, insulation, and old flooring from every single room and every single floor in the entire house. When we got done with demolition, we then closed cell spray foam insulated the entire thing and got started on construction. We discovered issues in the basement, so we had to remove and completely rebuild the center support wall of the house. After removing and completely rebuilding the center support wall of the house, we were then able to rebuild the entire main floor and completely frame the kitchen, the pantry, the dining room, and the living room. With the main floor completed, we jumped into the second floor and removed and rebuilt the entire flooring system. So this brings us to today, where we will be addressing the third story, also known as the dream attic. The floor in my attic needs to be completely rebuilt. Listen to my steps. You can hear this ladder rubbing up against the wall because the ladder is moving because there's no support under my feet. That's sketchy. After careful consideration, we have determined that my attic floor is completely shot. It is rotten, it is warped, it is cracked, and it is not safe. So we need to remove and replace the entire thing. So this brings us to obstacle number one. We need to remove the old subflooring that's up here. Birds lived here for 30 years, so they pooped all over it, and they peed all over it, and it's all warped and cracked and nasty smelling, so this is not going to be a very fun job. With the old subflooring removed, this is going to bring us into obstacle number two. Underneath that old subflooring, now above my head, is closed cell spray foam insulation. A couple years ago, I decided I was going to get a little head start on my future construction project, and I was going to demo the inside of these rooms and pull out all of the insulation and just get everything prepared. At that time, I did not know that we were going to have to rebuild the floor in the attic, so I had the ceilings in these rooms closed cell spray foam insulated. So obstacle number two is we are going to have to pull out all of that closed cell spray foam insulation that's in the ceiling, and this stuff kind of breaks up into little tiny styrofoam pieces. So this is going to make this job messy. Obstacle number three is the roof is supported by the floor in the attic, the floor that we are wanting to remove. So that means that we are going to have to build new roof supports that transfer the roof load from the attic all the way down to the basement. Is it roof or roof? Root or root? Potato, potato. Once we are able to get our roof supports built, then this brings us to obstacle number four. We have our old floor joists. These are warped and no good anymore, so we need to pull them out and replace them with new ones. Which brings us to obstacle number five. Right now, our floor joists up in the attic floor run this direction. We need to put our HVAC system inside of there. So HVAC is going to run from right here all the way back to the other end of the house, and then it'll branch off to the sides. So in order for that to happen, we need to, number one, change the direction of every single one of these floor joists. So they're not going to run this way anymore. They're going to run this way. And then number two, that HVAC system hangs down. It hangs down pretty short. So it's going to make our ceiling short. Like I can stand here and touch the ceiling kind of short. So we need to raise the floor in the attic as well. So this brings up obstacle number six. We are going to be adding a whole nother stair to these stairs, and right now I am already hitting my head on the roof, and when we add in another stair, I'm really going to be hitting my head on the roof. So we are going to have to rebuild these stairs in a different orientation, so that way we're not going to be hitting our heads. And we're not done yet. We have obstacle number seven. I'm on the second floor right now, so above me is the floor to the attic. Notice how we don't have any walls on the second floor. We just have a couple random support posts every now and again. Right now, the attic is supported enough where we are holding up the floor, but it is not supported enough where we can have 3 men running around up there working, because that is not safe. So we are going to have to do the attic floor in thirds, hence why this is part 1 of a 3-part series. See these big beams that are sitting right here, and then we have ones over here? Those are basically going to be our third divider lines. So when we're working over here, this is going to be the third that we're going to do first, and then we have the middle third, and then way over there we have the third third. So this brings us to problem number 8. Since we are going to be building the floor in thirds, we are going to have a third of the floor a foot higher than the rest. We need to walk on that new higher part in order to be able to get to everything else. So we are going to be laying down a temporary subfloor. Once we get the entire attic floor on the same level, then we will pull up our temporary subfloor and we will reinstall it in a permanent form. So we're gonna have twice as much work when it comes to the subfloor. Obstacle number 9, which is the unknown. Obstacles 1 through 8 are the obstacles we know we are going to have, but the unknown, who knows? We could get into this floor and we could find a whole can of worms that's gonna lead us down to a whole nother set of obstacles, but we don't know until we get there. So with that being said, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Obstacle number 1, removing the old subfloor.
Change of plans. I guess I started from the wrong side pulling boards.
And then we have another change of plans. We were gonna do everything in thirds. We still are gonna be doing all the building and floor joist stuff in thirds, but we're making a huge mess with tearing up this old subflooring and ripping out this old insulation. So we're just gonna get that done right now while we have the big mess down below, and then everything else we'll be doing in thirds. But we're just gonna finish this out. We already got the first third done, so now we're on the second third. It takes the breath out of you, that's for sure. Doesn't look hard, but whew. Now that we've got some of this subfloor off, it's kind of amazing how strong that subfloor is, or how it ties everything together. We don't have a lot of support under the floor right now, so it's really weak. But just getting that subfloor off has made this floor twice as spongy as it was before. I can move this a scary amount right now, so I'm going to keep holding on to this board. But this spray foam insulation also adds a lot of strength in between. I am standing 100% on spray foam right now, and I'm not holding on to it. I'm not going to trust it forever here, but there's a lot of strength in this spray foam. Once we get this spray foam out, we are going to have some really loose floorboards up here, and then we'll see how bad they actually are.
Whether it's right or wrong, to support our roof line, I think the best thing would be putting a big header board across and then somehow try to support it from the second floor up. Unless in the middle of doing it, I'll come up with some other idea, but that's what it's gonna be for now. Shall we tear out some floor joists? I was wondering why this blade is not cutting that well. Look at these teeth. It's just missing a bunch. I hope I can find something better.
Our subfloors are now removed. We have the insulation out. Roman got started on the roof supports. I had some farm activities that I had to take care of, so I am now back. He has half of the roof supports done, so we're gonna finish supporting them out and support the other side. And Roman's already got a majority of the floor joists already removed on the first third, but we still got a little bit left. So we are making some serious headway, and we are almost to the construction phase. We now have the rest of the roof supported, so that is done. And we got all the other floor joists out, so we are completely done with removal. Now, we need to do a little bit of calculating. For the new floor joists that are going to be going in here, we do not have those ordered yet. So we need to measure and figure out exactly how many floor joists that we need to get, and then we need to get those on order so they can be coming here. And then thing number two, right now it is not windy outside, so we need to do a little bit of laser measuring. The top of our old attic floor used to be right on the top of this board. We are going to be moving it up 8 inches, so we need to put marks on every single one of these studs all the way around the attic, so that way we know where our new rim board is going to be located, so that way we have a platform to actually build our new floor on top of. We're gonna set the laser up and then make an 8-inch mark all the way around. So we'll just put a mark right where the laser line is. Now we're gonna do this today while it's not windy, because if it's windy, the vibrations of the wind will actually move the frame of the house ever so slightly, and then our laser will sit there and bounce. So we need to get these marked, and we need to get calculated how many pieces of wood we are going to need. So that unit right there is Roman's laser, and it is projecting a laser level line all the way around. You can see it there on the wall. That green line, that is the laser line. Now check this out. If I jump up and down, you can see how much it moves right now because the house is so weak, because we have everything tore apart. We're gonna let that line settle out, and then we're simply gonna put a pencil mark on every single one of those studs. That's right at the 8-inch point. So that is the new height our floor is going to be at. It used to be right there on top of that piece of wood. So now it's gonna be bumped up there.
Now I have a giant hole that we need to fill in and put in new floor joists. And they're gonna switch orientation going this way. We're going to go with 2x8 boards instead of 2x6 to give it more strength. And what we're gonna do, Cole chose to go 12 inches on center instead of 16 like we had before. So it's gonna be a stronger board and more frequent boards, which is gonna give a lot more strength to the structure.
We brought in the heavy guns today. Justin is now back. He had a 3-day vacation.
Yep. That was my vacation. Sheetrock.
Now that we've gotten all the messy parts out of the way, we are at the point where we are going to put in the new joists and raise the floor. However, we have to do some wall building on the floor we're currently standing on before we can build our floor joist for the attic above it. So we're gonna have some moving around to do, and we are going to have some thought-provoking processes, and we're gonna start building some new walls. It's a little bit hard to picture this right now because we just have open space, but Roman, if you back up just a little bit, we can see right here is going to be a doorway. This is actually going to be a closet behind me, so it's gonna be 5 feet wide. It's basically gonna be 5 feet by 5 feet. So this is going to be a utility closet. So we are going to have this back wall. Then once we hit the back 5 feet, that's like right here, there's actually gonna be a staircase right here that goes up into the attic through this bedroom. So we're going to be framing this wall here right now. There's going to be a doorway right here that we need to frame, and then we'll be able to build our staircase in here. But this wall needs to be here because our floor joists are going to be mounted on top of it, and that's what's going to help us bridge the span. It's too far to do one big solid piece of wood, so we have to break it up into 2 smaller pieces of wood, so that way we have the strength. So we have to have this wall. Here we go, this makes it a whole lot easier. We actually have instructions here. So this is gonna be the 5 by 5 closet. That's gonna be that stairway that runs down up into the attic. And so we're gonna be building this wall right here. There's no doorways on it or anything. There's a doorway here where the stairway is going to be, so we have to keep that in mind. But then otherwise from here on out, it's just solid wall.
Well, here we have it. Justin was pushing us hard to get this done. We have this half done. We took a little moment to figure out what we're gonna do with these steps here. And I think we came up to having a solution that should be close to what we're gonna be doing. Now we have to move to that side to attach our rim board and then start putting joists, but we have a problem there too.
I have some good news. I got done with my field work activities, so I'm now back in the house, and the even better news is, look at this, new floor joists are in and the floor is raised. So with our next obstacle being obstacle number 7, which is rebuilding the stairs, we're running into a little bit of some number 9 obstacle on this, a little bit of unknown, and I'll show you what I mean. It's a little bit hard to tell because I have lack of access, well, until we get the stairway figured out right here. But look how much difference the height is of the floor. That's old floor back there, this is new floor up here. You can see right there, top of old floor is not even close to where bottom of new floor is going to be. So this is what we got over here so far in this first third. That is all new flooring. We are going to be doing exactly what we're doing right here, all the way through the rest of all of that. Justin and Roman were able to get the new floor joists on right over my head because they have a permanent outside wall and then we have a permanent inside wall. So they were able to get everything laid across, all tied up and in place, so this is all ready to go. Now we're running into a little bit of number 9 right here because on the other side of this wall, we still need to take floor joists from here to the exterior of the house. However, we have our staircase that we have to move, and there's gonna be a little bit of forward planning on that, so we're gonna leave this space open for right now until we get a little bit better stair design figured out. So in the meantime, this is what we have. We got our first third done. And since we don't have the rest of our floor joists in yet, it's pretty much impossible for us to walk out there unless we decide we're gonna take a ladder out to it. So we don't have to worry about getting any temporary permanent subflooring down. So we'll come back to our obstacle board and we have our rebuilt stairs. We'll underline that because there's not much we can do on that right now. We have our first third done, the temp permanent floor done, and we have addressed the unknown. So we'll see you back in part 2.